Math 6, Module 4, Lesson 31 says, for each problem, determine the independent and dependent variables, write an equation to represent the situation, and then make a table with at least 5 values that model the situation. Now, for dependent and independent variables, how do you determine which one is which? What does independent mean? It can be by itself, right? But dependent means it relies on something else. Okay? So Kayla spends 60 minutes of each day exercising. Let D be the number of days that Kayla exercises, and let M represent the total minutes of the exercise in a given time frame. Show the relationship between the number of days that Kayla exercises and the total minutes that she exercises. Now, if you ever, for the most part, almost always, are given a time, like days, years, months, or whatever, that's going to be the independent variable. Because guess what? We can't stop that. We can't do anything to a day to make it not be a day. Right? It's always going to come around. So that's going to be independent. So we can write D in the first column and M to represent the minutes. Now, so the independent variable is going to be the what? The days, number of days. And the dependent variable is the number of minutes. So how are we going to come up with that? What is our equation going to be, Janice? I need a variable, or I need an equation. D Now think about what you just did. What are you trying to find here? You're not finding the days, are you? Days are always going to be days, right? So we're not looking to find days. We're looking to see how many minutes. And that depends on the days, right? Dependent variable is going to depend on the independent variable. You're looking for the answer, which is the independent, or which is the dependent variable. Okay? Because you're going to have to do something to the independent variable to get the dependent variable, because it depends on the independent. Okay? So, if we have one day, how many minutes has she exercised? What about 2 days? What about 3 days? What about 4 days? What about 5 days? 300 minutes. Okay. Now go to page 2. Before let's go back to page 1. Now, when we're talking about these tables, I just want to put this in your head right quick. This is your X and this is your Y. The dependent variable is dependent is your Y. Your X is your independent. So look, if we were to graph this, we would have 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day, 5 day. That's your X value, right? These are X's. These are, not X's. These are Y's. See there? Now, on day 1, We know these are all going to be multiples of 60 at least. 60, 120, 180, 240, and 300. Now, you don't have to do this. I just want to show you how your x is always going to be your independent variable. Your y is going to be your dependent. So 1 day is 60. 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Okay, your y depends on your days, right? You see that? Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, okay, good question. I said that your independent variable will always be a form of time, right? That's because we're given a day, right? We have to do a day. Now, just so happens we're talking about minutes here, okay? But those minutes depend on the days. The days don't depend on the minutes, okay? So yeah, um, your independent variables are kind of going to be you may make up those independent variables, okay? Because what if I had said 1 day, 8 days, 16 days, 25 days, all that time. I can make that up, right? Because that's independent. It doesn't matter. I don't have to base that off of anything. I can do that. But now my independent or my dependent variable, my minutes, is going to base off of what I picked. If I did 25 days, then I would do 60 times 25, right? So that's how you have to get that. Good question, though. All right. 2. A taxi cab service charges a flat fee of $8 plus an additional $1.50 per mile. Show the relationship between the total cost and the number of miles driven. Now, first of all, what is our independent variable? Sorry, what did you say? And what did you say? The dollar amount? Now, your dollar amount is going to depend on what? The miles. So it is the dependent variable. Your independent variable is the miles, and your dependent is the cost, right? Your cost depends on miles. Okay? So now what is our equation going to be? C, because we're looking for the dependent variable, equals M. Say it again. Well, not just M. Yeah, $1.50 times M plus the fee of $8. Okay? So, now then, let's do that. A lot of times it doesn't tell us what variables to use here, so we're going to do M and, yeah, I got to do C because I used M and C, didn't I? Miles and the cost. So let's say if I go 1 mile, what's my cost? $9.50. What if I go 5 miles? How are we going to do that? 1.5 times 5 plus 8. That's going to be 15.50. You've got to put the extra 0 on there. You can't put 15.5. You got your calculators. Do these. Make sure you're getting the right answer. Let's go with 8 miles. $20. Guys, you need to be practicing this. Use your calculator. All right, let's go with, we'll go 10 miles here. She right? Should be. All right, let's go with 15. That's what I got. And all those are dollar amounts, right? Okay.